To our first topic today, economic activities globally have been contracting since the invasion of Russia on Ukraine. Now, this development has led to the rise in the cost of energy and food commodities, and Nigeria, of course, not excluded. The obvious effect of the conflict on the world food security comes through the impact on global grains and energy markets, as noticeable increases is felt in the international food and fuel price since the war began, significantly affecting local food prices as well as access to food at the right quality and quantity and time. As the conflict between Russia and Ukraine persists, Nigeria may be affected in terms of capital importation and some food imported from these countries which will no doubt contribute to upward inflationary trend in the country. I have joining me via Zoom from Abuja to talk more about this. He's the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Dignity Finance and Investment Limited, Dr. Chijoke Ikechukwu. He's also a former Director General of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you for your time, Dr. Ikechukwu.
Thank you very much. It's always my pleasure to look.
Yes. Let's start this discussion this way. Just in, IMF is saying that inflation might even hit 22%. That's for Nigeria. Looking at what we contend with already as a nation, what are your thoughts with regards to this projection? 22% is so much on the high side, away from projections that we've had by the CBN or even the federal government.
Yeah, you know, Nigeria has gone through a chronicle of actions that actually would affect inflation rates adversely. Having come from the COVID-19 era, we survived it. Now we got into the insecurity that has befallen this country all over the place, which has been affecting food production from the farms and of course transporting them to the towns where they are needed. We also have been befallen, what has befallen us is the exchange rate, which has also given us a very high rate of exchange rate. And so all these things were happening before the Russian-Ukrainian war. Of course, because we are part of a global village where anything that affects a major economy will affect the whole world. We are already a victim of that global village, let me call it conspiracy. Now, so right now, knowing that Russia and Ukraine constitute about 30% of the world export of wheat, and of course, the two of them also constitute about 20% of the world export of maize. That is enough. And you see that most of the things we produce in this country actually need wheat and maize for raw materials. And of course, we don't have enough in this country, and so we must import these. And that is also affecting many other countries of the world. So you also know that we are suffering from the high price of petroleum products, which is part of what is affecting our pricing today and cost of production. And so these are all the things working against us, and these are all the things affecting the inflation rate that is being projected to get up to that 22%. Right now, if we say we're still about 15 point something, it's just to say we're being very modest, because today food inflation is far more than the headline inflation that we have. And so what does it portend to us? It portends the fact that we are going to be, poverty is just hanging around us and watching us, and we are going to be feeling it very heavily. And so these are all the things we're going to watch. So I expect that inflation rate will get as high as that. Knowing also the fact that countries, especially countries of UK and co, are experiencing the kind of inflation rate they have never experienced in the last 40 years. And so ours will not be different from the rest of the world.
Before I move fully into the food security aspect of this discussion, we've seen the likes of the AFDB, World Bank, IMF warn particularly that we should cut spending, reduce subsidies, all of this just trying to reduce our expenses at this time as a country. Do you think this is much of a problem? Are we looking at this aspect of it? Even the World Bank is saying that there could be a recession. global one?
Yes. You know, at the beginning of the year, we heard and we thought that the federal government was going to remove the subsidy from our economy. But somewhere along the line, probably politically speaking, they didn't consider the timing to be the right timing for them to remove subsidy that could probably work against the government. So because of that, they sustained the subsidy. But as far as I'm concerned, I only consider that the fact that we were shifting the evil day. You know, so having to move it to the end of the year is just like shifting the evil day. The realities of that holding on to subsidy, the realities will soon come to us, is already affecting us. And so that is just why we are not getting any benefit from the increase in the crude oil prices. Right now, we're supposed to be smiling to our bank as a country, as a major producer of oil, but of course we're not. First of all, because we're not processing our own oil, we're not refining it, and secondly, because of the subsidy that we have. So these are two major areas, and so what we have done is just to shift the evil day. So we expect that we need to take the bull by the horn and take that decision once and for all. It does not matter how it affects us, but of course, over the years, we're going to get used to it, and we're going to adjust our other indices, and you know, the country is going to face certain realities. All countries of the world have faced such realities, you know, so realities, and so we need to face it and know where it takes us to. That obviously also has its own potentials to bring in investors into the country. It also has potentials to bring in a whole lot of business opportunities, and so we need to take that bull by the horn and not try to paint ourselves as good when we're not good. That's actually my take.
Great stuff there, CEO. Now, we agree, or we know clearly that we have a crisis at hand. I won't talk food here. And I said that earlier. AFDB has come up to say Africa will not go hungry. They're going to support with all that they can. But let's come back home and look at the support that we've gotten from the Apex Bank. Particularly, we focus on planting maize and wheat and all of this products that we need, or the produce that we need instantly to make our manufacturing and all of that continue to move on as planned. Do you think, or how soon do you think we'll get the positives of all of these investments? 1.1 trillion naira has been spent to the Anchor Borrower scheme. That's a lot.
Yes, even if the Apex Bank today triples what they want to push into production of wheat and maize and some of those crops, in the short run, the impact will not be felt, because these are things, these are efforts that will actually take like more than 1 year to optimize. And so it is a good decision to take in order for us to grow our food locally. But I can tell you the impact is not going to be felt except probably in the long run. And so the most important thing is to get started. But whether we're going to see the impact right now, positive impact right now, it may not happen now, because it will take a while before the farms and of course the seasons, and some of these things have different seasons and things like that. The processing and co, and so it is going to take a while. So in the long run, yes, we may have the benefit. We already enjoy such benefit in the rice production, so we can as well do it in wheat, we can as well do it in maize. But of course, let us also know that the impact is not going to be felt right now, and get prepared for it.
Monitoring and evaluating all of these initiatives and scheme is something that comes to the fore, Dr. Kechuku. I think that a lot more, we saw the rice pyramids and all of that, but many will say that's not enough to show. What more do you think can be done to show the transparency and, well, of course, accountability in all of this process?
Yeah, Tolu, you and I will agree that the implementation of the intervention funds is being checked, and many people are saying we're not optimizing what we're supposed to get if this thing is done better than it's currently going. A lot of people who are supposed to benefit from these old interventions are not getting it, and many who have no business with any farmland are also getting these interventions. And so we need to ensure that we put a mechanism that will monitor and make it more transparent, and of course make it result oriented. In other words, there should be that way we need to monitor and check and know who is benefiting from all these benefits, from all these interventions, and be sure that we are pushing these more funds to the right places and to the right people and to the right purpose. So until we do all this, you see that we may be making all the efforts, but they may not be effective in solving the problems we want them to solve. That's actually what I think.
So clearly, we see that if this continues, experts have said that it will affect Nigeria in terms of capital importation, particularly of some of this food imported into the country. What directly will be the implication of that, even on our market?
You see, I mentioned before, in any situation, in any economic situation we find ourselves, you see that there are a lot of opportunities that these situations create. If we are having, if we're not having enough money into the country, you see that, enough food into the country, a lot of business people are going to be bringing in food, and of course we're going to be exporting a lot of money. And vice versa. If we also have a lot of food here, we also have a lot of export that will happen. We have enough for our local market, and many people will become exporters of all these products, and that will mean inflow of money. But apart from all this, you see that in any economic situation, whether it is a serious extreme inflation period or a serious period of decline in economy, there is always an opportunity, a business opportunity that will show itself. And it takes only very good business eye to identify those opportunities and take advantage of them. So we are hopeful that when we produce enough for the market, export will just be so easy. People are going to be exporting their products and earn hard currency, and that way, except also the borders are closed or controlled, you see that a lot of people will just be sending out as export most of the things that are produced locally in order for them to earn better than people who are selling for local consumption. So, but it requires that our various agencies are obviously targeted at solving certain problems and making sure that they also enforce certain things that will make sure our decisions are meant for the purposes they are meant to get.
Are we also looking at some structural reforms with regards to agricultural space? When the monetary side goes through a lot of, puts in a lot to support government, many believe that the fiscal side also has a role to play. Well, thanks to politicking at the moment. But all the same, even before now, what would be your assessment with regards to that agricultural space? It's been more of the monetary side, many will say. Is that support really coming to make it easier for people to take advantage of the opportunities we have in the agricultural sector?
Yes, I've always wondered why the monetary policy end is being heavily concerned about what's going on in the agricultural sector.
Yes.
We have, we expect that more should come from Bank of Agric. We expect that more should come from all the various institutions that have been already established to ensure that we grow agriculture. And so I need to see more of the synergy between the monetary side and the agricultural side, and of course the fiscal side of our economy. I know they belong to various meetings where they sit together and plan, but I don't see that synergy. I don't see enough synergy happening amongst them. And so we expect that the monetary side of our economy should indeed involve the agricultural side and of course involve the fiscal side. And instead of actually competing, sometimes that's what I see, that they are actually competing for who should take care of certain things. We need to have synergy amongst these sectors, so that we have same purpose and achieve the same result, so that the country and the citizens of Nigeria will be better for it at the long run.
Indeed, better for it. In just 1 minute, a loaf of bread, 600 naira. Some will tell you now it's about 850 naira. In some places, 1,000 naira. Milk that used to sell for 1,100. In some places, it's about 1,500, 1,700. And income kind of remains the same. what kind of life will Nigerians live as we move towards the election?
Yeah, that's the negative effect of inflation. You know that, like I mentioned before, wheat, which is a major raw material for the production of bread, is a major product, export product of Russia and Ukraine. And of course, given that all their ports have all been blocked, it is difficult for them to export to countries that really need all these things. So this is just the beginning. If this war continues, we expect that all these prices are going to increase because raw materials of maize and wheat have, we don't have enough, and we depend on these warring countries to supply us same. Milk is also same. We have a lot of supply of milk coming from those two countries, and we also have from some parts of Europe, like Netherlands, where but these countries are also having their own internal economic issues to battle with, and so you see that's why I called us that the fact we're part of a global village. Once there's anything affecting any major economy, it will affect the rest of the world, and that's what we are suffering today. Unfortunately, we have to live with it for now, because that is actually that which we don't have immediate control over. However, in the long run, like I said, we need to start right now to start growing all these things and start producing our milk and start growing our meat and maize. And so all the efforts of government should be geared towards achieving this production size in order for us to be able to forestall this kind of situation in the future, so that we should be self-sufficient in some kinds of food, especially the ones that can come as input into manufacturing and production. Those are the things that we need to start doing right now, just for the future, in order for us to have the food security we're talking about and the sustainability we desire to have.
Dr. Chijoke Ikechukwu there. He is the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Dignity Finance and Investment Limited, also a past Director General of Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you so much for your time on the show today. We really appreciate this. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much, Always my pleasure. Thank you.